Good morning. My name is Paul Weedfell, the Chair of the Maryland Transportation Authority Board. Today is Thursday, June 26, 2025. I hereby call the meeting of the MDTA Board to order at 9 a.m. This morning, we're having our meeting in person at MDTA headquarters, and in accordance with live streaming law, this meeting is being live streamed on the MDTA Board webpage. I would like to say welcome to the members and staff who are with us today. For the record, MDTA Executive Director Bruce Gardner, along with members Carroll, Rosen, and Sneed, are joining us this morning via conference call. As a reminder, I ask that anyone who is in the room with us this morning to refrain from speaking unless you are presenting or answering a question to avoid background noise on the live stream. I would also like to ask members to speak loudly and clearly so those in the back of the room are able to hear you. Also, please say your name when motioning or seconding to help with the meeting minutes. There are no members in the public, no elected officials, and no media who have pre-registered to comment at this morning's meeting. For those who are watching this meeting via the live stream, we have posted the materials for today's meeting on the MDTA Board webpage so that you can follow along if you would like. We will now proceed to the agenda. The first agenda item is approval of the open session meeting minutes of May 29th, 2025.
Move for approval, Member Cox.
Second, Mary Jimmy.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye. Aye.
The second agenda item is the approval of the closed meeting minutes of May 29th. Is there a motion?
So moved, Mary Jimmy.
Second, Member Von Paris.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye. Aye.
The third agenda item is approval of several contract awards. Mr. Davis?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I'm going to do my best to speak slowly and clearly for those on the phone. I have a habit of speed reading through these documents, so I'll do my best today. The first one up is contract number HT 3019 Baltimore Harbor Tunnel, maintenance and auto building HVAC and roof replacement. This project includes the replacement of HVAC system and roof of the HVAC system and roof at the maintenance auto building at the BHT facility. Project work includes replacement of HVAC system, removal and replacement of existing membrane roof, and the repair and refinish of the existing metal roof. Finally, upgrades of interior ceiling, lighting, fire alarm system, and other building elements that are impacted by the HVAC equipment replacement. A protest was received alleging that the lowest bidder was not responsive. The procurement officer reviewed the bid documents and determined that Fresh Air Concepts LLC was both responsive and responsible. The protest was denied. No appeal was filed. You'll see that the bid from Fresh Air's concept was below the engineer's estimate by 14%. And you'll see that the MBE goal 24% was met, and the VSBE goal of 1% was also met. Are there any questions?
Any questions?
Have we worked with Fresh Air Concepts before?
Yes, they are often a bidder on our contracts, and I do believe we have a history working with them. But I don't want to speak out of turn. I don't know what recent contracts they've had.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? If not, is there a motion to approve?
Move for
HT
approval,
30?
Member Cox.
Thank you. A second?
Second, Member Cordova.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, thank
Second
you.
contract?
The next project, if you remember, Mr. Chairman, I mentioned that we had 5 HVAC contracts. This is the final one. When I read the description, you'll understand why it's a meeting or so after the other ones. So this is MT 00211391 HVAC and ATC maintenance and repairs for the William Preston Lane Bay Bridge facilities. The purpose of this contract is to retain the services of qualified contractor to provide HVAC, ATC, and water treatment services for MDTA's facilities, William Preston Lane facilities. The provider shall furnish all labor, materials, supplies, equipment, supervision, services, and related incidentals for the HVAC, ATC, and water treatment. The procurement officer rejected one of the bidders, who then submitted a protest. The protest was denied, and the bidder appealed. The appeal was denied by the Maryland State Board of Contract Appeals, which is why we are now bringing this to you. We anticipate presenting this to the July 2nd, 2025 Board of Public Works meetings. You'll see Denver Ellick is the lowest bidder, a firm we do have a history with for these services. And the overall MBE goal of 14% and 1% VSBE goal was met. And I'm seeing an error in this form. I apologize. I did check the box that said no bid
That's it, that
protest,
was-
but I should have checked the box that said there was a protest. This is an oversight. I'll add it to my checklist of things to review when I'm double checking these documents for you all. Any questions?
Thank you. Any question? If not, is there a motion for approval?
Member Jimmy, I'll move for approval.
Thank you.
Member Arden, I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye. Aye.
Mr. Davis?
Okay. The next contract up for bid, up for award, is the MT 0021141 for overhead and building door maintenance, repair, replacement, and inspection services for the MDTA. The purpose of this project is to retain the services of a qualified contractor to provide overhead door maintenance and services. 5 bids were received, but 1 bid was rejected for being non-responsive. The lowest bidder was then Minor Ltd., doing business as Bob's Overhead Door. This contract is for a base term of 3 years and a single 2-year renewal option for a total of $750,000 over 5 years. As this contract exceeds the MDTA's delegated authority, the award of this contract would be pending approval at the soonest available BPW meeting. You'll see we received 4 bids. There was no MBE goal because of the single element of work, and you'll see that Bob's Overhead Door is the incumbent. Are there any questions?
Any questions? If not, is there a motion for approval?
Motion to approve, Member Cordova?
Okay, second.
Second, Member Jimmy.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye. Aye.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, last contract for award is MT 0211382 for janitorial services at Point Breeze headquarters, MDTA headquarters. The community service provider contract provides comprehensive janitorial services, including supervision, supplies, labor, and equipment at the Point Breeze facility by the National Center on Institutions and Alternatives. The Pricing and Selection Committee approved the rates for these services on May 16, 2025. Janitorial supplies are included in the contract total, and the contract specifies that supplies be purchased from Blind Industries of Maryland, another community service provider. This contract is for a base term of 3 years and a single 2-year renewal option for a total of $1,491,639.79. As this contract exceeds the MDTA's delegated authority, the award of this contract will be pending approval at the soonest BPW meeting. If you scroll, you'll see what looks to be a single vendor. The way these community service provider contracts work is we work with Maryland Works, who will select one of their preferred providers to provide pricing for our facility. And the Maryland Works works with companies that provide job services for folks with special needs or job training.
Good. Any questions? If not, is there a motion?
Member Arden, also move.
Thank you. Second.
Second, Member Cordova?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Moving to agenda item number 4, approval of contract modifications. Mr. Davis as well.
Yes, so this doesn't have a summary sheet. I have a memo I'm going to read to you all, and then, I'll ask you if you have any questions. We're bringing this modification to you all because it is related to our electronic toll collection contracts, which is something we want to bring through the board per your requests. So the purpose of this memorandum is to seek the MDTA Board's approval to execute contract modification number 4 for contract MA 2868 for the ETL Customer Service Centers. Some key takeaways is the modification updates the system requirements specified in the request for proposals to align with MDTA's current business rules, operational needs, and customer payment options. The changes allow for better contract management and accountability. This modification does not include any financial increases. What's that?
He buried the lead.
You know, you say best for last, right? I bury the lead. On February 21st, 2018, we awarded this contract to TransCore LP for the implementation of our customer service center. Contract was modified. Wait, don't have that on this page. Sorry. It's on the next page. Contract was modified on July 27th, 2022. You can see the history of changes on the second page of this. Contract modification number 2 was awarded July 5th, 2023. Contract modification number 3 was awarded August 28th, 2024. The general sum of these contract modifications was to update the phasing, implementation stages, and to increase funding for the cashless tolling that we instituted early on during the pandemic. This particular modification, what it's attempting to do, is grab all those changes we had to make in order to improve the system for our Maryland commuters, and we want to codify all those changes in the contract so that we can monitor it, more holistically, fairly, and that the contractor is being held to the expectations now of the newly designed system. Modification 4 aligns the systems stated in the RFP to the system designed, tested, implemented, and accepted. System requirements are tracked on a requirements traceability matrix. Of the 2,397 requirements tracked on the RTM, nearly 20% of the original requirements were updated or removed. Most of the changes relate to deleting references to the Alliance for Toll Interoperability, which is no longer in operation, including requirements for the pay-by-plate payment option, and removing requirements for pre-registered video tolled accounts. These changes are necessitated to build a modern system that aligned with the adoption of all electronic tolling, modern technology standards, MDTA's operational needs, and customer expectations. Between the time when the RFP was advertised on August 2016 and the system accepted in April 2025, the MDTA toll collections went cashless through the adoption of the AET technologies, and more was learned about customer expectations. By updating the system requirements, the MDTA improves its ability to manage this complex contract and ensure vendor accountability. I should have just read that line instead of trying to explain it prior. The MDTA understands that retroactive contracts are not favored. We were working on documenting and ensuring agreement among all the parties since fall of 2023. So this has been in work for quite some time. MDTA believes that DOP and operations believes that the end result will serve the needs of the agency and its customers. So I recommend your approval of contract modification number 4, which we look to present to the Board of Public Works on August 6th.
Any questions on modification number 4? If not, is there a motion for approval?
Motion to approve, Member Cordova?
Second.
I'll second Member Von Paris.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye. Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Agenda item number 5 relates to a dedication. Carl?
Good morning.
Good morning.
So my name is Carl Chamberlain. I'm the Deputy Director of Planning and Program Development here at the Authority. I'm here today to recommend approval of the request by Paula Davis of Gaithersburg, Maryland, with the support of Senator Nancy King and Delegate Greg Wims, both representing Montgomery County, to dedicate the Moncaster Mill Road Bridge over Maryland 200 in Rockville, Maryland, to Army Private First Class Justin R. Davis. Quick couple things about process for these types of requests. So requesters can submit an application directly to us, or it can actually go to TSO. So TSO has a process and a webpage that's sort of easily accessible with the criteria on there. So a lot of times these go through TSO first before they make their way to us. That's sort of what happened in this
TSO
case.
being the Secretary's office.
Thank
just
you.
for
Thank you.
people. Thank you.
Yes, the Secretary's office. Needs to include support from at least one elected official, and there are certain criteria that need to be met certain categories of individuals that are sort of eligible for this type of dedication. And in this case, this individual falls under that criteria. And then, of course, we review here at a staff level, and we provide it to the board for approval, which is what we're here to do today. So just a quick summary on the request and the application that came in. So Justin Davis graduated from high school in Rockville, Maryland, and enlisted in the United States Army before graduation at the age of 19. He attended boot camp at Fort Benning, Georgia, was stationed at Fort Drum, New York, and before deploying with the 1st Battalion, A Company, 132 Infantry in 2006 in Afghanistan. On June 25th, 2006, Justin was killed in action in the Korengal Valley when he was attacked by indirect fire while on patrol during combat operations. This dedication is a way for Montgomery County to honor the service and ultimate sacrifice of a fallen hero. And with that, I'm happy to take any questions about the application itself, about the process that we follow, or any comments that the board may have.
Any questions or comments? Member Cox?
Well observed. I see Senator King and delegate. Normally, it's a 3-member delegation. The others just you didn't hear whether they weighed in on this request.
Yeah, not that I'm aware of. Again, we only require one, and a couple came in. I think there was actually. I could go back to that because I think the mayor also.
I see that,
provided
but I'm
support
just
as
saying
well.
normally.
Yeah, so
Normally the delegation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Fine. Thank you. I'll move for approval.
I
Secretary.
have one.
Yeah.
Mr. Von Paris?
Yes, Member Von Paris. Is it limited to individuals, or can organizations be recognized as well for a dedication?
So there are certain criteria. I don't have the full
Okay.
list of criteria. It is up on the website for the Secretary's office.
Okay,
But yeah, like I said, there's maybe 5 or 6 different criteria. Okay. Organizations might be one of them, but it's certainly individuals. A lot of times it's members of the military and things like that. But yeah, there are certain criteria.
I'll check it out, but thank you
Yeah,
for the reference
absolutely.
on it. Thanks.
Thank you. Member Cordova, just on behalf of Montgomery County and its residents, being a resident and a public server at the county, just want to express my gratitude to the Maryland Transportation Authority for its consideration of this bridge dedication and for the opportunity to honor Private First Class Justin Davis and all our fallen soldiers. And he's in his service, and their sacrifice are never forgotten. So we honor their memory. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? If not, is there a motion for approval?
Motion to approve, Member Cordova.
Second?
Member Arden, I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Aye. Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Agenda item number 6 is fiscal year 26 operating budget. Mr. Brown?
Good morning. For the record, my name is Jeffrey Brown, Budget Director for the MDTA, and I'm here today to request approval for the fiscal year 2026 final operating budget. A note for the committee members, the numbers have changed since we presented them last time, primarily to updates to salary schedules for collective bargaining and a revisit of some vehicle requirements. For fiscal 2026, the final operating budget is $461.1 million, which represents a $10.6 million or 2.3% increase versus the preliminary budget. The key drivers are personnel expenses, insurance costs, management study activities, other land vehicles, some additional costs to outfit police vehicles, and also increased Easy Pass Service Center costs. These are partially offset by reduced vehicle purchases, as well as additional capitalization of certain engineering costs. The vehicle purchases, if you recall, was moving of funding from fiscal 26 to fiscal 25. In our analysis, we break it into various buckets, mandated increases of $8 million, discretionary additions of $6.1 million, and discretionary reductions of $3.5 million. For the $8 million mandated increases, the major variances are in base salaries of $4.2 million. This is in 2 categories: one for grade step reclassifications, and collective bargaining salary schedule changes, which total $2.7 million, and a 1% COLA for all employees totaling $1.5 million. Health insurance and health retiree insurance increased $2 million due to updated actual activity. Pension costs increased $0.7 million, while Maryland State Police retirement costs increased $0.6 million. Social Security increased $0.3 million, and the law enforcement pension system increased $0.2 million. The major variances for the $6.1 million discretionary additional spending are insurance of $1.5 million due to expected premium increases. Management studies and consultants increased $1 million, primarily due to environmental, social, and governance analysis and reporting. Vehicle purchases for other land vehicles increased $1 million. This is for things such as mowers, utility trailers, arrow boards. Additional equipment increased $0.6 million. This is for the vaults in police vehicles. These are required to where they store their firearms in the car. Easy Pass Service Center costs increased $0.5 million, primarily due to funding for double-blind image reviews. Computers increased $0.3 million due to increased requirements. Legal services increased $0.3 million for potential Key Bridge litigation. And the statewide enterprise budget system increased $0.3 million due to contractual pricing. All other increases totaled $0.6 million across various RCs, with no RC more than $0.1 million. The key variances for the $3.5 million reduction are as follows. The vehicle purchases, as mentioned before, declined $2.9 million. This is due, again, to the transfer of funding from fiscal 26 to fiscal 25. Engineers declined $0.5 million. This is a shift to more capital work versus operating work. And building repairs and maintenance declined $0.1 million, primarily due to lower expense requirements at the Bay Bridge. In your handout, you also see a table that shows the progression of budgets from fiscal 24 through 26, as well as a pie chart that shows the various uses of funding by division and purpose. Be happy to take any questions at this time.
Any questions, comments?
This is Member Von Paris. I have no real questions. I do want to recognize Mr. Brown here for doing a very good job over and over again, and I appreciate it very much.
Well, thank you.
Can I take that as a motion for approval?
Yes, I'm sorry about that. And I will make a motion to approve this.
Is there a
Over again,
second?
Jimmy, I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Thank you. Thank you. The seventh agenda item is the approval of the CTP, the capital program. Stump?
Good morning. For the record, my name is Jennifer Stump, and I'm the Assistant Capital Program Manager. And today, we're seeking your approval of the proposed draft fiscal year 26 to 31 CTP. The draft CTP was recommended for approval by the Capital Committee on June 5th and by the Finance and Administration Committee on June 12th. The proposed six-year fiscal year 26 to 31 draft CTP is $5.1 billion. This reflects a net increase of $144.8 million as seen on attachment 1, line 7. That net increase is a result of the following: an increase in the six-year CTP budget by $112 million for the Francis Scott Key Bridge as seen on attachment 1, line 1. The budget reflects the original cost estimate that was prepared for the FSK Bridge rebuild within 2 weeks of the bridge collapse. The cost estimate will be updated prior to the next MDTA bond sale. A decrease in the six-year CTP budget by $9.4 million for the Nice Middleton Bridge as seen in attachment 1, line 2. A decrease in the six-year CTP budget by $12.2 million for the I-95 ETL Northern Extension as seen in attachment 1, line 3. An increase in the six-year CTP budget by $109.9 million for all projects except the Key Bridge, Nice Middleton Bridge, the I-95 ETL Northern Extension, and the reserves as shown on line 4. And a decrease in the allocated and unallocated reserves by $55.4 million as seen on attachment 1, line 5. Fiscal year 2025 expenditures were $584.6 million versus the $765.5 million that was budgeted in the fiscal year 25 to 30 final CTP, as reflected on line 7 of attachment 1. The fiscal year 25 underspending was $180.9 million and has been rolled over into the draft CTP. Highlights of the project and reserve changes are shown in attachment 2. For new projects, we added 8 system preservation projects and 1 environmental project for a net increase of $53.9 million in the fiscal year 26 to 31 period. For modified budgets to reflect bids received, we adjusted 1 project to reflect a bid received lower than the engineer's estimate for a decrease of $681,000 in the total cost of the project, but a net increase of $1.9 million. $1.9 million in the fiscal year 26 to 31 period. For added construction phases, the construction phase of 4 projects was funded for a total of $33.2 million, transferred from the reserves as design reached 60% and cost estimates were developed on fully developed scopes. For modified budgets to reflect completed projects, we had 6 projects completed or deleted for a net decrease of $828,000 in the fiscal year 26 to 31 period. For projects modified due to cost changes and cash flow adjustments, adjusted cash flows and funded changes in engineering and/or construction budgets for 73 projects for a net budget increase of $112.1 million in the fiscal year 26 to 31 period. And for reserve changes, the allocated reserves had a net decrease of $56.3 million, and the unallocated reserves increased by $899,000 for a net decrease of $55.4 million in the fiscal year 26 to 31 period. On attachment 3, it details where the projects are by facility. We have 34.8% at the Key Bridge, 16.5% at the William Preston Lane Memorial Bridge, 16.4% at Kennedy Highway, 11.2% at multi-area projects, 10.7% at Fort McHenry Tunnel, 8% at the Baltimore Harbor Tunnel, 2% at the ICC Intercounty Connector, and less than 1% each at the Hayden Bridge and Nice Bridge. Attachment 4 details the projects by their category. We have 37.3% in bridge replacements, 22.1% in structure preservation, 16.8% in safety and capacity improvements, 8.5% in highway preservation, 4% in tunnel preservation, 4% in campus facility improvements, 2.7% in enhancements, 2.4% in campus facility preservation, 1% in environmental, and less than 1% in unallocated reserves. That concludes the presentation, and again, we are seeking your approval of the fiscal year 26 to 31 draft CTP. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions or comments?
Move for approval. Member Cox?
Thank you. Is there a second?
Member Arden, I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 8 is the approval of the financial forecast. Ms. Green? Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. For the record, I'm Chantel Green, the Director of Finance here at the Transportation Authority. So today I'll be presenting the fiscal year 2026 to 2031 financial forecast for your approval. In a moment, I'll discuss the primary differences between the current forecast and the forecast that was presented to you in November. However, before doing so, I'd like to direct your attention to the key takeaways at the top of your memo. You'll note that through fiscal year 2027, the authority remains in compliance with its financial goals and legal standards, and this is consistent with the November forecast. The budget for the Francis Scott Key rebuild reflects the original $1.7 billion cost estimate that was prepared shortly after the bridge collapsed. The cost estimate will be updated later this year. Based on current forecast estimates, beginning fiscal year 2028, a system-wide toll increase will be necessary to maintain 2 times debt service coverage throughout the remainder of the forecast period. The next page outlines the primary differences between the current forecast and the most recently approved forecast. Net total revenue remains relatively flat throughout the forecast period. With regard to the operating budget expenses increased by approximately $83 million throughout the forecast period. The key drivers of the increase are mostly mandated personnel costs, insurance costs, and other operating increases noted during the operating budget presentation. These costs are compounded throughout the forecast period. Capital expenses increased by approximately $145 billion, primarily due to the rollover of unexpended funds from the prior year into future fiscal years, the inclusion of 9 new projects, and a net reduction in the allocated and unallocated reserves. Debt issuances increased during the forecast period as a result of a projected short-term refinancing associated with the Key Bridge rebuild. The forecast models a short-term bank line of credit to assist with Key Bridge rebuild funding while awaiting reimbursement from the federal government. Debt service declines during the forecast period, mostly due to cash flow adjustments that result in more cash being available during the earlier years of the forecast period, thereby reducing the amount of debt service during the forecast period. Regarding insurance funds, the forecast continues to assume that $25 million of the $350 million in insurance proceeds will be used for salvage and debris removal costs, and that the remaining proceeds will be applied toward federally eligible Key Bridge rebuild project costs after the $60 million in federal quick release funds are exhausted. The forecast assumes that after spending down the remaining insurance proceeds, beginning in fiscal year 2027, the authority will be fully reimbursed by the federal government for eligible project costs with a one-year lag from the time costs are incurred until the authority is reimbursed. Based on current forecast estimates, beginning in fiscal year 2028, a system-wide total increase will be necessary to maintain 2 times debt service coverage throughout the forecast period. Those are the major changes reflected in the forecast. I'd be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Green. Any questions or comments? If not, is there a motion for approval?
It's Member Von Paris, so I'll make the motion.
Member Canjemi, I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Thank you, Ms. Green. Just real quick, I just wanted to mention, obviously, we just went through a number of approvals. The rest of the agenda is primarily updates. But, you know, the level of effort it takes to get to those approvals by both the chairs and the members of the committee is highly appreciated, because I know this just doesn't happen. There was a lot of dollars there that we just talked about, but there was quite a bit of analysis leading up to those votes. So just want to thank you for the time and effort for that. Agenda item number 9 is an updated biannual review of the revenue sufficiency. Ms. Green again.
Okay, thank you. The authority's board operating policy requires a biannual review of revenue sufficiency to determine if current rate and fees levels are appropriate based on expected levels of spending. It is essentially a companion item to the financial forecast that was just presented. As you all know, the financial forecast that was just presented shows that the authority's current toll rates, as well as fees and discounts, provide enough revenue through fiscal year 2027 to meet forecasted spending and all legal and policy requirements. Thank you.
Any questions or comments? Okay, if not, thank you so much. Agenda item number 10, the MDTA's Travel Plaza update.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
For the record, my name is Simon Ager. I'm the Travel Plaza Administrator for our two houses that we have up north. It's Chesapeake House in Cecil County and the Maryland House in Harford County. This is my annual update on the maintenance operations as well as the revenue for the travel plazas. So getting to why we have travel plazas, the number one priority is safety for our drivers coming through our state, especially for the truckers. So we're trying to promote safety for everyone, to provide a welcoming environment for all of our visitors, and also to market the state of Maryland. Why do we have a P3 partnership? That is basically where we're marrying the best of both worlds with an outside entity. We're taking an asset, which is our travel plazas, monetizing it with a company that has a direct relationship with hospitality partners. Our business, our core competency is highways, bridges, and tunnels. So we want to have someone who's got their ears to the ground as to what the market wants, so we can then deploy employees back out to our operations. As part of this process, no toll dollars were used. Aris USA entered in a contract with the MDTA for a 35-year contract where there was a direct initial investment of $56 million. Along with that, we do have certain oversight by the MDTA to make sure they're in contract compliance. Generally speaking, we receive 10 to 15% of revenue that is generated by the houses. Depending on how much they do in sales by the individual house will determine the actual revenue received. On page 4, I have a list of the concepts or the restaurants that we have at the travel plazas. There's been no change from our last conversation. And again, the concessionaire reviews all their operations, and if they make any changes, they will let us know about that. But right now, no changes. Moving on to number 5, page 5, this is the sub-concepts or the sub-lessees at the travel plazas, which includes, we have massage chairs, ATM machines, the Maryland Lottery, Tesla charging stations. We also receive incremental income from the brochure racks that we have. So anything that you see when you come into the Maryland House or Chesapeake House, the MDTA is deriving some sort of revenue. Moving on to page 6, you'll see a slide or a graphic presentation of our fiscal year from 2024. We recognize $4.71 million for the fiscal year. That compares to 4.5 for the year prior. But I want to bring your attention to the following page, which is page 7, because you really have to understand how we bring the revenue in. We're relying on travelers to our plazas. So summertime, when school's out, that's our peak season. So basically, our revenue spikes, from May to about August. So when you look at a financial or a fiscal point, it really doesn't give you a true picture. When you look at the chart, you can see 2024, we started off very well in the first quarter, but then we kind of tailed off. 2023, we received $4.79 million. That was actual cash. Last year, we received 4.49, so there was a little bit of a drop there. On slide 8, or page 8, I'm sorry, I presented the top 3 concepts of the travel plazas between the Maryland House and the Chesapeake House. There's been no change as far as, between 1, 2, and 3. Again, this is gross revenue that I'm presenting to you. So 10% of what you see here is what we actually collected. So for example, if you look to the right, Sunshine Market last year brought in $4.4 million. That translates into $440,000 of revenue to the MDTA. On page 9, we did have a revenue highlight going back to 2017, looking forward. Chesapeake House, Wendy's brought in $298,000. That was gross revenue that posted in June of 2024. So we received about $30,000 in revenue from that, just that one entity. On page 10, one of the things I want to also emphasize is our partnership with Aris USA. We have been partnering with the America's 9/11 ride since 2001, and we are going to be having our 25th ride coming up in August, and I invite everyone here to attend. It's a great event, and it really marries the community, our folks in operations, the MDTA Police, MSP, the Northern Region maintenance folks come down. It's a coordinated effort with areas, also Sunoco. So literally this year we're expecting approximately 600 motorcyclists. That's going to be a record. Not to mention 200 to 300 law enforcement and support personnel that will be there. I went there a couple years ago for the first time. It's a really moving event. If you look on page 11, this is a photo of one of the support vehicles. These are the names of everyone who died on 9/11. And while I have a photo here, when you're out there in person and you actually see this gigantic trailer, it's really compelling. We have law enforcement folks coming in from last year from Connecticut down to Virginia who participate in this event. Great event, and I invite everyone to be here, to be there at that event. Looking forward, one of the things that we have to do is we also have to keep our customer, that is number one. That's our number one focus, making sure that all the restaurants are operational. The Aris USA is operating in a very tight hospitality environment. But at the same time, we're also looking at how to improve our customer feedback. QR codes, internet follow-up, Google reviews, actually responding back to the customer. So these things that we're looking at with our concessionaire. There also have been furniture and fixture improvements. Over time, these facilities do age, so we have to make sure that we are providing a clean environment. It's contemporary. We don't want to have the travel plazas look like their age, because we do want to have repeat customers coming in, and they'll pick up on that very quickly. Challenges, we did have some challenges last year. You can see the leadership. These were all the changes that occurred last year. Again, we talked about staffing. There's a competition between the Wawas, the Royal Farm stores, more restaurants moving to the Hartford-Cecil County area. And also we have signage that directs traffic to other places. So we try to build on the loyalty aspect and also the convenience aspect. You can come to the travel plazas, use the restroom, get your food, get fueled up, and get back on the highway. And also economic and traffic. They did experience a little bit of a drop in traffic last year due to the Key Bridge. That wraps up my presentation. If there's any questions?
Thank you, Sam. Any questions? Mr. Van Paris?
As Member Von Paris, I think that I really appreciate the presentation, and we had this at the Finance Committee meeting, and it really demonstrates how diverse the organization is. I mean, we're in a way indirectly involved in hospitality, and I think it's it's just amazing. A lot of people don't realize how diversified MDTA is. The other thing we discussed was, just to confirm that we have processes in place to measure, to make sure that we get our fair share. I think we also said, are there any other opportunities out there? But that's for another day, opportunities to expand such, if it works. But it's probably not for this meeting. But and overall, I think the Finance Committee was very satisfied that you have processes in place to make sure that we're getting our fair of the revenue stream.
Thank you.
So thank you. Thank you.
Member Cox?
Just to follow up on Member Von Paris, if I recall, at least in one in Hartford County, there's room for expansion. Am I correct as far as footprint?
That we leave up to the concessionaire, but I'll let Deb.
For the record, Deb Sharpless, MDTA's Chief Financial Officer. Member Cox, is your question, does the building have the capacity to expand?
Yeah, the footprint, meaning the property itself.
Not the property, but the actual building, the Maryland House, how it was designed, there is capacity to expand. I have a number in my head, I think it's right, but let me just hold it back. But there is room to do some expansion at the Maryland House, should that need ever occur. Right now, we're not seeing any reason to expand the house.
Any other questions or comments? Just one, Simon. I noticed you said on the subcontracts that you have Tesla. Are there any other EV charger firms?
We do have non-Tesla chargers. That's through a company called EVI. They're out of Baltimore.
Okay.
That contract is rather challenging.
Right.
They were installed as part of a grant.
Right.
And so we are working to try to be able to upgrade those chargers.
Like to a Switch or Blink or one of those type of vendors?
They're slow. They're just not modern.
They're not the fast one, right?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Whereas the Tesla chargers, there's never
Yeah.
seems to be an issue at all.
Sure. Okay. Very good. Thank you. That's right. Yeah, make them slower.
Yeah, exactly. Don't speed them up.
Okay, thank you very much. Agenda item number 11 is major project updates.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, members. For the record, my name is Brian Wolf. I'm Director of Project Development for the Office of Engineering and Construction. I'm here this morning to present on the venture capital projects in excess of $40 million. There are 13 projects on today's list. 11 of those are in construction and 2 are in design. The first project is MA 2257. This is the electronic toll collection, the CAPCH support. The one update we have on this is BHT, the all-electronic tolling conversion. The ramp installation is about 90% completion. We estimate that completion or that work to be completed by October of this year, October 24th. And that's a date slip from the previous estimate, and that was due to a delay in the fabrication of one of the gantry arms that supports the equipment. That material has been received, and so the coordination with CAPS is underway. Next project is KH 3009. This is the I-95 ETL and northbound extension from 43 to south of Maryland 152. The project completion, it should be August 31st of this year. We continue punch list items with the contractor. We have shifted the general purpose lanes into their final configuration, and we continue doing some milling and surface paving for those northbound general purpose lanes. Next project is KH 3019. This is the Maryland 152 interchange, again part of the express toll lanes northbound extension. The generator for gantry 7 for the AET equipment has been commissioned. Testing continues on the fiber optic lines within the project, and we are working with that contractor on punch list items as well. Next project is the I-95 at Belvedere Road interchange. At this stage, we have completed installation of facing for the retaining wall, or roughly half of the installation of the retaining wall along the southbound I-95 just prior to the interchange. We have started deck placement operations on the bridge. And we've also beginning leveling pad construction for the wall at S5. Upcoming work for the contract is going to include continuation of the deck placement operations, and then installation of wall panels for retaining wall 5, and installation of asphalt at a number of the ramps. I believe so. Yes. Next project is BB 3017. This is the eastbound Bay Bridge deck rehabilitation. Casting of the deck panels is complete. We continue with the installation of those panels. And we have accepted the red line revision number 4. This is extra work on the project related to western truss strengthening and barrier on the suspension span. Upcoming work will include the continued panel installation, placement of link slabs that tie those panels together, and as well as the beginning of work for that red line 4. Next project is HT 2709. This is the envelope and switchgear replacement at the Baltimore Harbor Tunnel vent buildings. Looking at the Canton vent building specifically, the west elevation of the building, the precast panels and louvers have been fully installed. On the north face of the building, we have completed demolition and site prep, and we'll begin the installation of the facing panels. At the Fairfield vent building, the south and west elevations are complete, and that includes the louvers as well. Just some updates on the electrical progress. A number of the switchgear units have been placed at both buildings. And we continue active coordination with CAPS and DINAC on the integration of the system. Next project is HB 3001. This is the cleaning and painting of the Thomas Hayden Bridge over the Susquehanna. We continue blasting and priming operations on the bridge, as well as continuing the steel repairs as well. The project is around 72% complete, and we do expect the project to wrap up in spring of 2026. Next project is KB 3005. This is the I-695 subgrade improvements north of Bear Creek. The contractor is actively working on all 3 bridges within the project with back wall and approach repairs. The pile-supported slab, they continued pile driving through mid-May, and they have begun forming up the slab for eventual concrete work. And we completed drain pipe cleaning and a cast-in-place liner in Phase 3. And upcoming work will also include additional concrete repairs as well as some painting of the structural steel on the bridges. Next project is KB 4903. This is the Francis Scott Key Bridge replacement. We recently, or in April, received the 50% design submittal from the design build team. We recently completed aeroelastic wind tunnel testing for the proposed bridge configuration with good results. We wrapped up in May the boring program that had been ongoing since the beginning of the year. There is some testing of the soil samples ongoing currently. Fabrication of the steel pipe piling for the eventual load test program is underway. And we recently, as of Tuesday, visited the Turner Fairbank Highway Research Center to visit with Federal Highway Administration. They are assisting us with scour modeling on the proposed foundations. Ongoing work will include delivery of those test piles that I mentioned, and we look to start the installation of those for the eventual load test program in August. We'll continue working with the design build team on early procurement packages. And there will be a future announcement coming up regarding the demolition of the remaining portions of the existing bridge. Next project is KH 3020. This is the extension of the express toll lanes north of the Maryland 24 interchange. We are 30% complete based on time. We continue with storm drain work and replacement or relocation of a county water main. And we're continuing with significant coordination with the Maryland 24 interchange project, which is directly adjacent to this one. Looking ahead, we have continuing work on a noise wall within the project, and we'll continue work on that water main replacement for Harford County. Next project is KH 3021. This is the Maryland 24 interchange project, or the express toll lanes. This project is roughly 19% complete based on time. We recently completed pulling the fiber for the Maryland Transit Administration. There was a line within the project limits. We have pulled the fiber for that, for that relocation effort. A automated speed enforcement camera has been set up within the project. And we completed drilled shaft installation for the retaining wall located along the ramp between Maryland 24 and northbound 95. Upcoming work will include continued clearing and grading work for several ramps, placement of concrete at the pier for the bridge on 24 over I-95, and we'll begin forming up the abutment for the bridge over 95.
Hey, Brian, is everything as far as time-wise on schedule at this point?
Yes.
Okay.
We're on schedule.
Thank you.
Just a quick comment. Brian's got a lot on his plate, obviously. I mean, there's a lot going on. But if you take a look, I guess, of working with the community, and I wanted to mention this today because this morning there was an example of the benefits of you working with the community up on 95, excuse me, 95 northbound, or actually 95 up in the Kingsville area. There was a question on the Reynolds Road access ramp, and then with the install of the new access ramp on Rockville Road, southbound, northbound as well. And Brian worked with the community, the local first responders, and in working to leave that one Reynolds Road access ramp open because it would take forever, or not forever, it would take a much longer time to have units coming from, instead of Kingsville right there, all the way from Harford County. And this morning was an example of the benefit of that. And there was an accident, serious accident between Bradshaw Road and also Raphael Road. And Kingsville's units were able to get right in there. Otherwise, it would have had to go all the way up to Harford County and then come back down southbound. So I think it illustrates when people work together, good things happen. And today it was very important because it was a serious accident. They were on the scene pretty quickly to take care of people. So thank you for the good work you do, and thank you for engaging the community when you make these decisions. Thanks.
Thank you.
One more question? Yes, of course. Thank you, Chairman. Brian, thank you for the update, and just have a question. Beyond the key bridge, which is a progressive design build contract, can you remind me which other of these projects are delivered through alternative delivery contracts?
Belvedere Road is it's design build. It's also a federal highway grant as well.
Okay.
I think that's the only other one
There was a simmer, I believe, but I can't remember which, I think, maybe? Or maybe it's coming, I don't know.
maybe coming.
Doesn't
I'm not.
matter. We
it's
can
not-
follow up with that. Okay, thank you.
Our next project is KH 3046. This is the 695 ramps to the northbound ETLs. This is in design, so we've switched from our construction list to our design list. This project recently went to the Department of Procurement, so it is in review right now. We anticipate the advertisement in early August, and we expect a notice to proceed for construction to be received in early 2026, with a construction completion in early 2028. And our last project is KH 3025. This is the phase one for the new JFK Highway Maintenance Facility within the northbound ETLs. We recently issued a notice to proceed for some additional engineering work for realigning the entrance for the facility. We also completed field survey work on Rockville Road. We are currently revising the PS&E package for that realignment for the entrance. And there will be upcoming coordination work with Baltimore County regarding some water well installation and sewer line permitting. That completes the list of projects. If there's any additional questions?
Any other questions?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just one comment, Brian. I think on the Francis Scott Key Bridge, as you know, tremendous focus on an activity out there. I don't think we should lose sight of all the work that's been done, that the highly technical work that basically needs to be done so that we deliver the project, in a timely and a cost-effective manner and in a safe manner. So a lot of that work that people physically haven't seen is critical to the future of that bridge. And as you mentioned, I think very shortly the people will start to see physical things out there, but we can't discount all that work that's been done over the last few months that your team has done. So I just want to thank you for that.
Thank you.
And underline the importance of that type of work. So it's a lot of times it doesn't get focused, but that's how you lead to a much better project. So thank you. So with that, the next agenda item is update on the IT. David?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Good morning to the board. Great to see everyone. For the record, David Goldsboro, Director of Information Technology for the Maryland Transportation Authority. The purpose of this update is to provide a quarterly update to the board on MDTA's Division of Information Technology. As of June 26, 2025, the Division of Information Technology maintains an active portfolio of 21 projects and continued support of the third-generation tolling system. Some of the significant initiatives that we continue to work on are in the table, and I'll give the board some updates on those. First, our HR Central, that's the upgrade over to the Lightning platform with our Salesforce system. We are working through sprints 47, 48, and 49, mostly related to class and comp items, and it's mostly a testing effort at this point. We started to do some enhancements on the employee relations unit module. We also are looking at doing some work on our annual awards program and our supervisory training engagement program, also known as STEP, bringing that into that particular system. So we'll continue to keep the board updated on that the next go-around. For our scheduling system enhancements, I'm very excited to share that on Monday, June the 2nd, we went live with our mobile check-in functionality for our Easy Pass appointment scheduler system. Really proud of the team, the great work that they did, and I'll read the blurb that was put out with that functionality, Mr. Chairman. With this new feature, customers will be able to check in for their appointments directly from their mobile devices, which will streamline their arrival process. This enhancement is designed to reduce wait times and improve the overall customer experience across all customer service centers. I just want to say hats off to the team, did a really good job with that. So I will close this project out in our next update. The next project is our Maximo enhancements. We're moving on to the next asset class, which is our HVAC units. This is all in support of the continual build-out of our asset management program. We also doing some work on the GIS side, just doing some data cleanup issues. If you recall, the two systems, our GIS and Maximo, are tied together. So when engineering onboards an asset on the GIS side for planning, we bring that data into Maximo, and Maximo tracks all of the preventive maintenance and all the ongoing work that needs to be done to maintain the life cycle of that asset. The goal is to make sure that we are getting the expected life out of our assets as opposed to, I think, what we've been experiencing, which is maybe a shorter time frame. Next up is our Dynamics SL upgrade. This is primarily interface work at this point, our payroll interface, as well as some other banking interfaces. The project is about at 80%. And as I committed to the board late last year, I am keeping a very close eye on this project. We are targeting a fourth quarter go live, and that's been consistent through this year. So I think I'll have a much more complete update the next go around in September. But I believe that we will be on target. Our HRIS, we've got some testing remaining on the interfaces to our HR Central that was with the RPI company that did that work. We were still seeing some data issues, which was causing our HR folks to have to do some manual validations. I think that, in speaking to the team last night, it looks like they will be closing it out this week. So I'm excited to finally get that in place so that we can go back to relying on the interface from HRIS over to HR Central. There's a lot of HR data that feeds into there, so that's an important piece. The next is our data center enhancements. We've got some really good updates there. The new UPS room expansion has been completed. And as I described, if you look at the JFK data center to the left, there was a locker room area there. We enclosed that to create a space for our UPS and fire suppression so that we could open up the data center side for more racks. That was to support our toll vendors. So the electrical, lighting, also the fire suppression components have been installed there. The new UPS cooling units, the new UPS and cooling units were delivered to JFK and ICC Monday and Wednesday. I don't think they intentionally chose the two hottest days of the year, but that somehow worked out to be that way. And I would just say, Member Gangemi, it's really exciting to see those units go on those most famous concrete pads I've been speaking and bragging about for months. We've also added a third row cooling unit at JFK. We use in-row cooling units as opposed to forced air. It's all in preparation to increase the footprint for our toll system at that site. So I think by the time I get to the September update, this should be completed. We're looking at an August timeframe for a cutover. It will require a full outage on, we'll target like a Saturday, but it's going to be about a 12-hour outage in both data centers to move over to the new equipment. So we'll take our time and do it right. The next project, this will be one final update for the police body-worn camera. As I mentioned the last time, and as the chief mentioned, the body-worn cameras have been deployed. Great job to that team. We're also ahead of schedule on converting the cars over to the Axon system. The cars initially were deployed years ago with Coban. Coban has really cut back their market space, and with the district attorney's office and MSP and other police units using the Axon system, we opted to go in that direction. The final piece for that is getting the cars moved over and then shifting the video from the Coban system out to the Axon cloud, just so that they have that historical. But as of now, all of the video that is going out is going to the Axon cloud. So we're current with that. We just need to catch up on the Coban side. Our Maximo 9 upgrade, the request for quote, according to procurement, is going to be 7/1 with a due date of 7/8, targeting a September BPW. That is the upgrade for the Maximo 9 version. And that is a key upgrade because IBM will be sunsetting support for that product sometime at the end of this year, is what we're hearing from them. Looking at onboarding resources in October, we will be in an extended support at that time until next year. We've gone through a lot of technical meetings with IBM. They feel confident that we will be okay the version that we're running for several months. And I introduced one more project this month, Mr. Chairman, something I thought that the board would be interested in. It's the PMR, our procurement milestone report. This was a project that was introduced in conjunction with Jeff Davis and our procurement division. What we're doing there is we've taken each one of our procurement pathways for IT engineering, whatever the discipline is, and each of the procurement methods, whether it be an RFP or an RFQ, we're creating a step-by-step process that will automate the tracking of that. So, for instance, if you go in, you're doing an IT procurement and it's an RFP, and there's 9 steps involved, just as an example, it'll pre-populate the system with those 9 steps and the lead times on each one of those steps. We can also update the system with documentation, and at any given time, there'll be a dashboard report that will allow the consumers to go in and see where things stand. So if we see areas that are red, we'll be able to target where that procurement is maybe lagging. So that's been something that's been in progress for a long time, and very excited to work with our procurement division on that. So I will keep the board updated as we make progress. And finally, just from an operations perspective, Mr. Chairman, we've got some recruitments in progress. Our cyber audit is about 75% complete. We've got some artifacts to get to that group, and then they will be issuing their report to us. We also are looking at penetration testing for our infrastructure in the third quarter timeframe. So by the time we get to October, the cyber update, I should have some good information there on both of those areas.
Great.
And with that, Mr. Chairman, be happy to take some questions.
Any questions, comments?
Quick question, that last one sounded very interesting. What is the goal of that software? Is it to maybe make things more efficient, speed things up, get through a process faster?
For procurement tracking?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So I would say all the above. So right now, procurement does a lot of manual tracking and gets a lot of artifacts from different places and then produces a spreadsheet to us on, I think it's a bi-weekly, maybe a weekly basis. And so what this will do is it'll pre-populate a system with all the steps involved with the procurement, and then it'll be one place to go that the procurement officers can do updates. And so the nice thing about that is that as they're doing their updates, the dashboard will get published with those data points so that, again, I can go in and see where our IT procurement sit.
Is that something you can maybe present to the capital planning or future committee meeting? Not the next one, but just kind of walk us through it, tell us how it works.
Sure,
Show us
absolutely.
How to speed things up. I think it'd be great.
Yep.
It's good for
Make us
transparency.
smarter, in other words.
Good. Any other questions?
No, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Agenda item number 13, it's a socioeconomic program update.
Good morning, everyone, specifically Chairman and the board. My name is Kadria Ward, and I'm the Director of the Division of Civil Rights and Fair Practices, and I am here today to provide you with an update on MDTA's socioeconomic programs for fiscal year 25, third quarter. I will be going through the various charts that was presented in our board report. So Table 1 depicts the total DBE payments by contract for the Francis Scott Key Bridge, our progressive design build Phase 1 project, including the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse, debris removal and cleanup, and various architecture and engineering contracts that support the planning, engineering, construction, inspection, and program support and management services for the FSK reconstruction. Also, it will include the Nice Middleton Bridge projects and the I-95 interchange at Belvedere Road through March 31st, 2025. The first project there are approximately 15 federally funded projects with DBE goals, and the first project is KB 4903, which is the Francis Scott Key Bridge Rebuild Progressive Design Build Phase 1. The DBE goal for this project is 26.53, and it, as of March, it had a DBE goal, attainment of 12.61. Project 2 is KB 4213, which was debris removal, disposal, and cleanup of the FSK collapse. The DBE goal for that project was 3%, and there was a attainment of 2.93. Project 3, KH 3024, which is I-95 at Belvedere Road interchange, and the DBE goal for this project was 23% and had an attainment of 17.24%. Project 4 is NB 0543, which is the Harry W. Nice / Thomas Mack Middleton Bridge replacement, and the goal for this project was 16.14, and the attainment was 17.66. Project 5, NB 3003, which was the Nice Middleton Bridge campus improvements, and the DB goal for this project was 23.86 with an attainment of 26.41. Project 6, AE 3049, Nice Bridge Construction Management Inspection, or CMI services. The goal for this project was 26.45 with an attainment of 26.59. Project 7, AE 3050, which is the Nice Bridge Construction Management Inspection Services. The DBE goal for this project was 26.60 with an attainment of 25.12. Project 8, which is AE 3051, Nice Bridge Construction Management Inspection Services. The goal for this project is 26% with an attainment of 23.78. There is also approximately 7 other federally funded A&E contracts with a range of 28 to 33% DBE goals that were newly issued to NTP by the end of the third quarter. And I'm not reporting those because at the time of report, they had no DBE payment, so there was no reportable attainment. Table number 2 depicts total MBE participation by contract areas for quarter 3 fiscal year 2025. The MBE firms received $34.4 million, which is 21.75% of the $158.4 million in total contract awards for this period. These amounts represent contract awards in 4 procurement categories, which were construction, A&E, information technology, and services out of the 6 total procurement categories. Table number 3 was the Minority Business Enterprise Program contract awards by MBE classification and procurement category. This table depicted the MBE awards by Minority Business Enterprise classification and procurement category for quarter 3 fiscal year 2025. And during this period, African American firms received $7.9 million, which is 5.05% of the $158.4 million awarded to primes. Asian American firms received $1.3 million, which is 0.87%. Women-owned firms received $24.4 million, which is 15.42%. Hispanic American firms received $640,750, which is 0.40%. Just as a note, the MBE participation is calculated by dividing the total MBE contract award dollars by the total contracts dollars awarded. Table 4, which is the certified Small Business / Small Business Reserve Program Awards. This table illustrates the utilization of the Certified Small Businesses / Small Business Reserve Program for Q3 fiscal year 25, specifically for awards. SBR designated firms received $1.6 million of the $161.4 million in procurement awards during this period. Non-SBR designated awards for this quarter were over $2.2 million. MDTA CSB / SBR awards total over $3.9 million, which is 2.42% for all SBR awards, both designated and non-designated. Table 5 depicted the VSBE contract participation by contracting area for Q3 fiscal year 25. And during this period, VSBE firms received $2 million, which is 1.29% of the over $158.4 million in contracts awarded by MDTA. And that concludes the update.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Agenda item number 14 is Audit Committee update. Member Cox?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We met on June 10th. 3 of the 4 members were there. The other member, the chair, was about many thousands of miles away, so unable to attend. But we did have a good meeting. The audits are on track of the 13 audits in fiscal year 2025 audit plan are on track to be done by September of 2025. 3 are complete, 8 are in progress. 1 internal audit report was presented, and the audit of inventory controls of capital and non-capital equipment. The committee was satisfied with the results of the audit, and obviously we're ongoing with what the state does as far as the state audit, and we're complete. Questions were answered, and that's our report.
Any questions or comments? Thank you for being an acting champion.
We want the chair back, that's all.
I didn't go that far. I just thanked him for being acting chair. There you go. All right, agenda item number 15, the Executive Director's Report. Percy.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. On behalf of Executive Director Bruce Gardner, today I will be presenting the Executive Director remarks. For the record, I'm Dr. Percy Dangerfield, MDTA's Chief Administrative Officer. And today is with great pleasure that I get to inform the board that our very own Brian Wolf, MDTA's Deputy Director of Construction, was named the MDOT Safety Champion at the June 11th MDOT Safety Fair, which is remarkable. So there's a few reasons why Brian was selected. Guys messed up my remarks. I was going to ask you to applaud after I read his profile. But Brian, you did such a great job. We'll clap for you twice. So the Safety Champion Award is given to an employee who takes the initiative to help report, raise awareness, or assist other employees or customers in need with occupational safety and health matters and potential hazards. So Brian has consistently exemplified a strong commitment to these objectives. His dedication to occupational safety and health is evident in every action that he takes, from daily interactions to larger initiatives. So for example, Brian led a safety awareness campaign that emphasized the importance of using proper protective equipment on job sites, which resulted in a noticeable reduction in incidents. Brian also introduced sign-in and sign-out sheets, which were managed by the safety lead at each work site to ensure that all workers are accounted for in the event of an emergency or at the end of a shift. The system is critical for safety, is a critical safety measure, and also helps ensure that everyone is safely accounted for should a tragedy occur. Always on the lookout for cutting-edge solutions, Brian proactively sought out the latest personal protective equipment to ensure the safety of his team. Brian also introduced advanced hard hats that not only offer superior head protection, but also feature secure strapping systems to ensure a comfortable, snug fit, improving safety during construction projects. His dedication to safety goes beyond the basics. He participates in MDOT Safety Unity rides and events, as well as taking part with automatic speed enforcement on critical construction projects where speed is a dangerous factor. He also met with other agencies and contractors to discuss ways to improve safety programs, ensuring that the MDOT safety standards remain in line with industry best practices. Brian fosters a safety-first culture, and all that he does and his efforts reflect a deep commitment to the well-being of both employees and the public. Brian sets a strong example of leadership and safety, demonstrating what it means to prioritize the well-being of both employees and the public. And for that, Brian, we thank you. Also, moving on to a few other updates. So this month, MDTA's northbound Maryland 24 auxiliary lane from Maryland 924 to Singer Road was completed. This project was part of the I-95 Express Toll Lanes northbound extension program. Construction began in spring of 2024 and included widening northbound Maryland 24, modifying the traffic signal at Singer Road, and building noise walls along both directions of Maryland 24. The recently opened third lane on northbound Maryland 24 from Maryland 924 through the Singer Road intersection will increase capacity and safety and reduce traffic congestion for motorists traveling from I-95 toward Bel Air. So in addition, crews will perform emergency repairs to a collapsed stormwater pipe at the intersection of Singer Road. So looking ahead, the next quarterly MDOT Bay Bridge Reconstruction Advisory Group, known as BRAG, meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, July 9th at 6 p.m. at the MDTA Police Building located at 881 Oceanic Drive, Annapolis, Maryland. The meeting is in person and it will be live streamed. BRAG meeting agendas as well as live stream links are posted on MDTA's website and can be on the public meeting section of the website. Also on July 9th, the MDTA Police will be holding a police promotional ceremony at the MDTA Police Headquarters at 4330 Broning Highway. And thank you, and this concludes remarks.
Any questions or comments? Thank you very so much. That concludes the agenda items that we have today. I wanted to thank, obviously, members Carol, Rosen, and Sneed for joining us today, and obviously Mr. Gardner as well. So with that, is there a motion to close the meeting?
So moved. Member Ganjemi.
All in favor? Oh, second?
Member Arden,
All in favor?
Member
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you so much.
Aye.
That concludes our meeting at 10:22.
Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.